Welcome back to Dandrew, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman, a bucket-worthy movie, yet it only got a cut.
It's bucket-worthy.
Bucket-worthy.
This is a new rating scale we're going to be implementing on Dandrew.
Yes. Saying from him, this is apparently good, but not bucket-worthy.
Pirates of the Caribbean 5 wasn't terrible. We're not talking about that today.
Yeah.
But it doesn't deserve a bucket.
No.
Why did Wonder Woman get a cup?
Hey,
I want answers.
Dawn of Justice got a bucket.
Oh my
Trash.
gosh. Absolute trash. That is a garbage can.
These two were good movies. They got buckets. Deservingly so.
You cannot put popcorn in the cup. What you could, you know.
But it'd be terrible. How am I supposed to... No, don't desecrate it. Look at this. How am I supposed to enjoy my popcorn?
That's true.
By fisting a cup.
Without the Pringles can method.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. So Dan,
yes,
what did you think of Wonder Woman?
I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot too.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've talked about it.
It has.
Because
yes.
It's been a while since the experience video.
Just been a couple days, yeah.
Have new awakenings, different opinions risen since that
The biggest awakening I can think of is I thought Ares looked freaking heavy metal as hell.
Which is good?
A good thing, yes.
Okay.
I loved his whole...
Uh-huh.
I think that was the biggest thing about that whole deal that you kind of were like, about.
It felt out of place to me. So. Because, first of all, I want to mention that... okay, this is a good question for you, too, because I've been wondering it myself. Okay. Do you think that the reason Wonder Woman is being praised so much right now isn't necessarily because it's amazing, it's because the standard was so low? I feel like part of it is that we weren't expecting that much.
I think I'm trying my... I think there's definitely something to say there. I'm trying to judge it based on its own metrics as like, alright, what's this like as an origin story and a superhero movie?
I want to too, just as a standalone.
Yeah. And in my mind, it's good. It's not great, like you said in the experience video, but it's good. It's passable. It hits all the bases. It tells a complete story. There's characters we remember. Mm-hmm. And
Steve Rogers.
Steve.
I remember that name because it's Chris Pine.
Steve Tyler. Or no, Steve,
Tyler.
No, Trevor. Steve Tyler's Aerosmith.
Trevor's. I'm sorry. Just ruined my point. Most of you probably remembered. Chris Pine.
Because he was above average.
He was above average. Like this movie.
Can we just say that if any guy would do that if they were in the presence of...
This was an accurate portrayal.
This was
made the character more likable.
This was an accurate portrayal of the American man.
The American male person.
Yes.
But I do feel like I've been watching a lot of reviews on YouTube, both Nostalgia Critic, Half in the Bag. I don't think anyone doesn't like it.
No.
And I don't think it's like the best DC movie either. It's the best in the
DCEU, yes.
In the EU, by far, I think it's the best.
No, nothing's best in the EU, just in the DCEU.
But if I don't
politics, okay,
exactly. Well, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about was a lot of people are more interested in the political side of this movie.
Stop.
No, I mean like there's good parts to it, but keep in mind it's only political if you make it political.
This is true. Yeah, I didn't think of it as political at all.
I didn't either.
I just thought, hey, American culture.
Yeah, I just watched it. And
how many people grew up with like knowing who Wonder Woman is, not even reading a comic, just being like, "Who's that? That's Wonder Woman."
Yeah, they know.
You know,
it's a cornerstone. It's similar to Superman. It's part of
Batman
DC.
or Spider-Man or
all the big guys.
Yeah,
and it's the first time she's got on the screen. But like people, well, what I wanted to point this to was Ghostbusters came out last year.
Yeah,
and everyone hated on the haters of Ghostbusters and said, "Oh, you just hate women." And I think Wonder Woman is the perfect contrary. There, it's like, no, we don't have a culture that hates women. We just have a culture
that hates bad movies.
We just don't like crap.
Yeah,
and this proves that because the trailers were highly reviewed. Now the movie's doing really well in the box office.
Yeah, is it still at like a 95%?
I think it's at 93. So
that's still freaking awesome, though.
I have a hard time knowing though who would give this a bad review.
Yeah,
because I can't. It's definitely not flawless, though.
Probably some comic book movie purist who's just like, no, it's not taking it down here.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and
what do you think the biggest flaws with Wonder Woman is, if you put a finger on it?
The biggest flaws I had were all purely cinematography issues.
It didn't look Yeah, I didn't think it looked.
It didn't look the best.
Perfect
like there's sometimes where it's like, all right, we get it. It's dark. Can we get some freaking lights up in here?
All right, it still suffers,
but
it's an improvement.
It's an improvement,
but it still suffers from the DC desaturation.
Yeah.
Can there be a joke there? Desaturation comics, which is like Dawn of Justice. I think had it the worst, where every frame and shot is rain, rubble. Gray. It's like,
and Suicide Squad didn't know what the hell it wanted to do, so it was torn between like pitch black and neon. So
it was like,
this was at least consistent.
It was like looking for a nightclub at midnight when you're drunk. Mm-hmm. You're like, it's dark, and then there's some bright lights somewhere, and
he knows.
Yeah, Sherlock, exactly. It's just that's what. Well, it felt like Suicide Squad halfway through production changed courses, which is quite literally what happened.
Yeah.
But Wonder Woman definitely, like, they tuned up the color a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I think near the end it goes back into that punching people into buildings thing. And
I don't think it was all bad. I thought some of the gloominess kind of, it seemed appropriate for the time period. It's like, all right, it's World War I. We'll give it to you. This is pretty horrifying stuff going down.
Sure. And that's what is kind of confusing is in the marketing and advertising and stuff. They're saying all these girls finally have a hero to look up to, and it's like, but we have real human beings, real famous women throughout history that they could be interested in.
Funny enough, Gal Gadot would still count either way, even if she wasn't Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
because I think she was she was Israeli army and she was an actual veteran.
Oh yeah, no, she served. Yeah. It's great.
So it's like that's cool, but
it's just like,
weird. It's like
you kind of want little girls to look up to females who did something real. You don't want to look up to. I want to be more like the woman who grabs a whip to one man and then blows him out the window with a shield, and then brutally beats up.
Yeah,
that's probably not.
Susie, what do you want to do when you grow up? Ricochet rounds off my wrist.
And trust me, you don't want the lasso of truth.
No, that sounds like it's actually pretty painful. I never knew.
It sounds. I like the way they handled it in the movie. Though, I thought another great joke they could have done with the lasso is if, like, when she was whipping the Germans across, like, right before one dies, he's just like, "You're hot!" and that splats, because he has to say it. And, like, he's thinking it, and he doesn't want to say it. He's fearing for his life. But I like the humor they did with it. Remember the part where he puts it on?
Yeah.
It's like, we are going to the front.
We are probably going to die. This is a terrible idea.
It's
very humorous. Chris Pine did a good job in this.
It's by far the most humorous DC film we've had in a long time.
In a good way.
But it's not quite. I don't think it's quite a Marvel level of humor.
No. I think it's still
doesn't come close to that.
No. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I want DC to try and break off and do their own thing. But I want them to do it well.
Don't be Marvel.
Don't be Marvel.
We understand. Like the humor was pretty lively in this, but don't go like. I think Guardians 2 was the complete when Marvel comedy is unleashed at its max, because I think like
in kind of a bad way, I would say in some
almost
cases.
Like the problem I think with Guardians 2's comedy is it almost gets to a point where it's so often it's predictable,
and I think it
like
also
anytime a scene is serious, you're like, okay, joke's about to happen. And you're kind of waiting for it, like even in the most
my nipples.
Yeah. But Drax puts on or like he's finally got the power and he says, "You shouldn't have crushed my Walkman," and it's like that really heated moment where Peter's got all this power and then he turns into Pac-Man, which is funny, but it's just like, I'm not really taking any of this seriously.
This is true,
but I guess I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they did.
Chris Pratt is fighting Kurt Russell, who's a god apparently, with a lowercase g. We shouldn't be taking it seriously, but at the same time, it's like, easy.
Yeah, and Wonder Woman, World War I, and the message this is trying to send. Yeah. It's a two-dimensional film. Mm-hmm. Do you think kids would enjoy this?
I think they would for the most part. Yeah.
It's quite a lot of dark, long dialogue scenes.
Yeah.
I noticed. There's a couple dialogue scenes that I noticed just kind of keep going. I'd say. I think when they're on the boat That kind of went on for a little while.
Yeah.
And I get that it's exposition and we want to know our characters, but and I'm not saying I don't like that.
No, that's fine, but maybe it's not so much for like, little kids, but more like, mid to late teens at the earliest kind of thing.
I don't think it's something like, I think little kids would even enjoy Guardians 2.
Oh yeah.
Like 6-7-year-olds would still watch Guardians 2.
Yeah.
But the Wonder Woman, I'd probably aim a bit higher.
Yeah, because
I'd say
they do talk about some serious stuff, and it's like I don't think a small kid's going to understand this.
Or the World War I, the use of chemical weapons.
Yeah.
And, the people dying.
Like certain things just aren't going to quite register at that age.
Veterans coming back and with all their appendages blown off.
Like hey, Mom, why is that guy missing a foot?
This is a fun superhero movie where she's fighting, Well, and that's kind of the sad thing is they're not Nazis.
No, they're just Germans.
In World War I is kind of a messy war because it's when all the countries were kind of screwed up and fighting each other because of treaties and alliances.
Right.
So it's like she's just, killing people. They're enemies, but they're enemies to just one side of mankind, right?
Right.
So it's do you think it's possible that they didn't go the World War II route because of Captain America?
Maybe so. I don't know. Like,
that would have been a little too.
It's gonna sound weird. Part of me wants to think it's like, hey, Battlefield 1 did it. Maybe we should do it too.
They literally saw Battlefield.
I mean,
when I saw the Wonder Woman trailer, that's all I thought of.
I mean, in context of human history, in that time,
yeah,
that was the Great War. They literally just called it that. So it's like
that's what I like that. Chris Pine didn't say World War I because they didn't.
The war to end all wars. It's like,
all right, that actually count these things.
That actually really fits really well with Ares and whatnot. This movie.
And that's what it was at the time. Was the greatest war. Obviously, they didn't know World War II was going to happen, so they wouldn't call it that.
They didn't know there was going to be Great War, the sequel.
They didn't plan out the World War cinematic universe that ends horribly with Avengers Vietnam.
They would have ended with Korea.
Or it keeps going. Avengers Iraq.
Oh, God.
I don't like where this is going.
This is really bad. Let's stop this joke.
Yeah, my thoughts on it is but to circle about to the beginning is that I think that the movie's pretty moderate. As in, I think if a similar movie of this style came out from Marvel Studios,
we would think it was just meh.
We'd be pretty indifferent, I think.
Yeah.
We would treat...
I think we would treat it the same way we treat Doctor Strange. It's like, alright,
exactly.
They're just getting it ready for the Avengers. Whatever.
Yes. Or like Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I don't... opposed to just a couple people like Todd. I feel like Ant-Man was like no one's favorite. It would
be in my top 5 if I had...
Really?
I honestly would say so, yeah. Maybe it's just because I can see the little bits of Edgar Wright they kept.
Little bits, no pun intended.
Little bits.
Little ants.
Little bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a character.
Maybe Ant-Man's a bad example. I think Doctor Strange is probably a better example.
There you go.
It's like, what's wrong with Doctor Strange? Nothing.
Not really anything.
It's good visuals, pretty good story, but it's just not wow factor.
Yeah, that's not a good thing in itself because there's a Dormammu that should be all the wow factor.
I mean, you'll enjoy it. You're gonna laugh.
Yeah, but if
there's some good action,
if your movie has an interdimensional beast in it that doesn't make you go like whoa, then you're not doing something right.
Right, and I think Wonder Woman, because it's from DC, is being treated more. It's being praised way higher because it's from DC, which we didn't expect. We're like, DC can do good? What?
Yeah.
It's like a surprise. So the bar is certainly way lower. So when they make something that's decent, it's impressive. Unlike if Marvel makes something like Wonder, like Marvel's working on Captain Marvel right now. So that's another female-led superhero film, standalone.
Who I believe is played by Brie Larson.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that, and I think it'll be kind of a good comparison.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to compare Wonder Woman and
because
Marvel.
Wonder Woman, just classic American iconography right there at this point. And Captain Marvel is a popular character, but again, she's not very popular, I think, in the mainstream as someone like Wonder Woman or Batman. So it's like, all right, let's see how this does.
Which is most of the MCU.
Yeah.
Most of the MCU was unheard of characters, except for the, now we got Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now we got Hulk. Those were pretty well known. But it's the Iron Man, the Thor, Captain America. They were pretty.
Well, I mean, Captain America was always pretty well known.
Pretty well known, but yeah. I wouldn't say he's up there with the Superman, Batman, Spider-Man.
He's probably, yeah.
I'd say Wonder Woman was probably more well known.
Yeah, probably.
I knew who Wonder Woman was before Captain America.
Same. Well, that's because when I was a kid, I always watched the Justice League TV show.
Oh, there you go.
So that brought the only Marvel show I can think of actually was it was Spider-Man. It was like the 90s version.
Yeah, isn't that one of the best ones there ever was?
I mean, I think
most people agree.
I think if I watched it now, it would be like me. I might have to find that out.
But at that time,
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I spent many a Saturday morning freaking out, just like, oh my god, Spider-Man's out!
Right. And anyway, I wanted to expand more on the experience video. In Wonder Woman, I mentioned that I don't think this really changes the course of the DCEU.
I hope it. I hope we at least get some improvement, but
that's why it's important for you guys to go see it.
Yeah, like we talked about in the Justice League, Dandrew.
Yeah.
About how we're gonna get this really weird mishmash of conflicting views and ideas that it's gonna be the weirdest cinematic train wreck of a superhero movie we're gonna see for a while.
I think almost to the point where it'll be interesting to watch. Mm-hmm. Like now, I am genuinely curious to see what Zach did and what Joss corrected with, to see kind of that mixture is going to be interesting. But I feel like a lot of the reasons you said why Wonder Woman could be good, and you were right.
Right.
Congrats.
Hell yes.
It works in this story, but not in the future movies. Because, first of all, you were right. Wonder Woman is separate from the primary timeline.
Right.
With the Doomsday and Man of Steel and all that. So this doesn't have to connect to that. It kind of did at the beginning, but that was about it. And then she is the protagonist.
Yeah.
We know that.
We have her development.
Yes, so we have a few characters. Not... What's that face?
That's I was right!
When Dan doesn't find development in the Snyderverse.
Yeah, right.
But, and I don't think Justice League's gonna have that. Because we got too many characters going. It looks like by the trailers we're having the Flash's backstory explained, Cyborg's backstory explained, Aquaman's backstory explained, and then Batman and Wonder Woman are going to be looking for them at the same time.
Yeah.
And then James Gordon's in it.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be more similar to Dawn of Justice, where you watch it and you go,
well, okay.
What?
Because we got Whedon in here, and he handled the Avengers, and he knows how to at least kind of touch base with things.
Kinda.
We might get a decent way of explaining their backstories a bit. I don't know.
The difference with Avengers, though, is that had all the movies already
This
done.
is true. Yeah.
So
but you could still watch. You still could watch the Avengers separately from that and be like, okay, I have a bit of an inkling as to what's going on.
Kinda. No, yeah, you're right. Like, Avengers, you definitely don't have to watch the early movies. You can pretty much get it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what he's working with Justice League, given we have, no backstory.
Yeah.
This is the third DC film that Batman is appearing in. By the way, haven't had a single Batman movie yet.
Which is a problem.
So we've had Dawn of Justice, where Batman is...
This is why we need to just write our own DC universe.
Which you've done.
I've started.
And it's great. And... I remember our Dawn of Justice, Dandrew, where I rewrote Dawn of Justice, where I was like, okay, say you have to have this movie with all these characters. You're not going to make the solo films. And then, we rewrote it, and I was proud of that.
That was great.
I was like, what I came up with sounded infinitely better, but I don't even remember it. But,
we'll have to go back and watch that one to figure that out.
Yeah, we could write that whole thing out. But, Batman has appeared in Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, and now he'll be in Justice League.
Right.
Before we've had one film of development.
Yeah.
And the Ben Affleck Batman is still in effect. They haven't canceled that yet.
Well,
they might any day now, but
I hope they don't. I really want him to have a chance of actually being good.
I kind of hope it's a prequel.
I do too.
I hope they look at Wonder Woman.
I hope it's a Death in the Family prequel, and we see that Jason Todd was killed.
And we see we see Robin turn into the Joker we know in Suicide Squad.
Or we just see that Robin dies.
If you can get Jared Leto back. Good luck. Also, did we completely forget that we lost Jared Leto? Remember how he reacted to Suicide Squad? How he got all pissed off?
He's just like, what?
It was this whole method actor for like 8 months for 10 minutes of screen time, and then he hated that happened, so he didn't watch the movie, and then boycotted it, and then I don't think he's coming back, and that's kind of an important role in that universe. So
they can't. I don't think they can really recast him properly.
It's not gonna go well.
No.
Should they kill him off with like an opening scene? Oh, here's another Joker. I'm sorry. And Suicide Squad is also kind of a one-time thing. This is the problem with the DC movies right now, is that they're not. You can't have Dawn of Justice 2.
Yeah.
There's no Suicide Squad 2 because too much is happening in between these movies. Mm-hmm. So what you're having now is Dawn of Justice, Justice League, and then I think the next film Harley Quinn is in is like Gotham Sirens?
DC, you need to stop and take a look at yourselves. You used to be beautiful, man. And now you're just a mess.
Marvel has like a tree, right? Mm-hmm. They've got a trunk.
Yeah.
That's the Avengers films. And then between the trunk, they've got their branches.
Yes.
You've got your Iron Man branch. Got your Thor branch. Got the Guardians of the Galaxy branch, the Ant-Man branch.
Didn't we mention how we saw the Homecoming and the Ragnarok trailer before Wonder Woman?
Yeah, they must not have control over that or something.
How weird is that?
To get Marvel ads before your DC film, I guess.
I mean,
they probably don't control that.
I mean, I got pumped for the Ragnarok trailer alone. So
getting sitting in the theater for Wonder Woman got me excited for Spider-Man and Thor. Wasn't it also awkward that while watching Wonder Woman, you saw a trailer for Justice League in which Wonder Woman is in?
Yeah, it's like... Oh! I mean, we already knew she was going to survive because it was a prequel, but it's like...
The movie starts off with her in present day.
Yeah.
And I do kind of think if you're showing Wonder Woman to children, parents, you should probably mention that Wonder Woman didn't end World War I.
Yeah.
Because... that it kind of makes you believe that in this movie.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
They were fighting Ares, and of course, spoilers. She wins.
Yeah.
And then she goes back and the war's over.
Right.
And you're like,
it's like that's not how that worked.
That's the two unrelated incidents.
Yeah.
No. Random victory.
Yeah.
And then Germany gave up.
Yeah, the Native American smuggler is just like, hey, come here, you German soldier, you're fine.
Right.
No.
So would you like to see a Wonder Woman sequel that still takes place before the Justice League?
Yes.
Me too.
Because at least it wouldn't have to connect with any other weird BS.
Yeah, could we literally get like a whole trilogy that takes place all in the 20th century?
I would love to see it be nothing but her going through the various wars up until Justice League happens. Like, how weird would it be to see her in like Vietnam?
Oh man, that would be kind of bizarre. But I'd watch that.
I would watch that so much.
I'm also just very curious about a World War II. I would love to see her in that era.
I would love to see her like, it'd be 1967. She's like on the outskirts of Israel. She sees the IAF just screwing up everybody else. She's just like, nah, they don't need me. They lost like one plane, dude.
And then she looks at the camera and winks and walks off. But Israeli power. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm. And the DC isn't really a trunk with branches. It's more of a bush.
It's more of a shrub that's been hacked to death, and they're still trying to connect everything.
It's like a vine with a bunch of dead branches, but they can't come out because this is so complicated.
Yeah.
But I would place Wonder Woman above Man of Steel, and I like Man of Steel.
Sorry, I had to yawn. But I would put them about equal.
Really? I put them about the same?
I don't know which one I would say is better or not.
I think because of the events of Dawn of Justice, I've lost more respect for Man of Steel. I don't know if that makes sense.
I
but
could kind of see it because ultimately,
like you liked the movie once, and then a sequel to it made you hate the original.
I could see that because you know what it leads to.
Right, and I think a lot of Man of Steel was dependent on future stuff. You know, his dad always talking about the world won't like you, or maybe you should let them die.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to do something much more clever with Lex Luthor, because it's like, well, okay, now you got now you got a Superman who doesn't mind straight out murder.
Yeah.
So how is a simple man with no powers except business going to stand up against God? Well, I was like, well, they'll have to do something clever.
Yeah.
This is trickery. Get to her through Amy Adams.
Martha. Sorry. Lois Lane.
That's not Martha.
No, I just wanted to say Martha.
What's Lois Lane's middle name?
I have no idea.
Should be Martha.
It should be Martha.
And then Batman could go, Martha! Oh my god! And
that's the thing that annoyed the hell out of me the most, because I was like, I could see what you were trying to do, but you failed, movie.
The Martha thing could have made sense in different contexts.
In a hugely different context, yeah. Been
like one rewrite I saw was, what if this Batman in Dawn of Justice still didn't kill people, but he was willing to make the exception for Superman? Wouldn't that have made such a bigger moment? He's like, I don't kill, but he's not a man. Yeah. And like,
you were not. Yeah, and then that would have been better if he, for the whole, you were never a god, you were never even a man thing.
Yeah.
It's like he's
that would have justified murder.
Dehumanizing him and whatnot.
Right.
And then the whole Martha thing could have come back and it would have been like, oh,
he is human.
He has a mother.
Right. But because of the Dawn of Justice events,
it'd be like
it
a blue
just feels
screen
weird.
It's like, what have I done?
Because the problem is they built up Batman's motivation so heavily on, I need to just kill the crap out of him as fast as I can. And they just made him brutal, violent Batman who uses guns, but not all the time. And then Wonder Woman just kind of shows up in Dawn of Justice. I remember thinking how bizarre that was. That's the next problem, is now it's like, well, where was Wonder Woman during Man of Steel?
Yeah, right.
When they were terraforming the planet. Also, I gotta be honest, Red Letter Media has made me understand why Man of Steel kind of makes no sense. You had some fair points, Dan, back when you didn't care about Man of Steel, if you don't mind me telling. So, they wanted... You want to hear this?
I want to hear this.
They want to terraform the planet.
Okay.
Because they need to adjust it to their...
And yet they're super!
And
why would they change it?
You can step out of a ship and be mildly inconvenienced, and then suddenly have godlike powers where you can fly and shoot lasers. But, that takes like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Obviously, the better solution
is to just destroy
the whole planet and be mildly adequate human beings.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Also, what was Wonder Woman doing when the planet was dubstepping its way to death? Was she just like, I've given up on man anyway. Oh, I might actually totally die here. Maybe they'll explain that later.
Maybe.
She was back on her island. Yeah. It's in a different dimension or something.
Maybe that'll be part of the sequel. It's like, hey, weren't you supposed to be helping the planet? I just have to say hi, Mom. Dang.
Would you be even interested in Wonder Woman 2 if it takes place in modern day?
I mean, still a little bit, yeah, just to see how colossally bad it is.
If it's the same director, maybe. Find another love interest.
Maybe.
You read comics. Does Wonder Woman ever get with Superman?
Yes, and I think it's the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, I always
like Batman and Wonder Woman. I thought that was a lot more adorable. Because I would think, oh, what if they were just floating in the air? It's like, she's carrying him.
Which they kind of tease in the Justice League trailer.
And they also kind of... They kind of tease it a lot in Dawn of Justice.
Because they're both super old.
There's so much chemistry going on. Like, just when they're talking about the...
Because, Wayne looks older, but she's actually older.
How much older is she?
Well, given she was born in who knows when.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual actress.
No. Wonder Woman is at some point younger, born before World War I, whereas Batman was probably born in the 70s or 80s. Yeah. I don't know.
I assume we can safely say 70s for Batman.
Sure. But so they can both be an old, powerful superhero couple.
Yeah.
Also, she doesn't age. Another perk.
I assume that's just because she's conceived from a god.
Does Zeus ever show up in DC?
Yeah.
So do you think they'll do that in this universe?
I don't know.
It'd be like Thanos.
That's weird.
Also, there's no end credit scene in Wonder Woman. So
we found out the hard way.
We found out
because they had one in Suicide Squad, didn't they?
Yeah, didn't they have Batman picking up the?
Yeah, it was.
File full of
he was
names.
talking to Amanda Waller.
Exactly.
And I was just like, oh hey. All right.
To bring him up at the end, and we're supposed to be like, yeah, that guy from the terrible Dawn of Justice film. In this one, Patty, for Wonder Woman's like, no, just go home. The film's over now.
Get out of the theater.
And then it's over.
We hope you enjoyed. Get the hell out.
Maybe she ended it because she was just like, well, that was the best they'll ever get.
Nah.
Because it's all downhill after this.
Yeah.
Do you think Justice League is going to be better than Dawn of Justice?
I don't see why it couldn't be.
I'm still questioning, like, it almost feels like Suicide Squad and Dawn of Justice are in a totally different category.
Yeah.
Because they're not cohesive stories.
Like,
in Wonder Woman, we only love it because we get what's happening.
It's what happens when you try and be Tarantino, but you suck at it, almost.
Yeah, or you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
They change their minds halfway through production.
Like,
and Zack Snyder's in charge. So, like, this Wonder Woman gives me, like, this little glimpse of hope that maybe they could end on a high note. Mm-hmm. Maybe if they give more control to the directors. Maybe not Justice League, but maybe the Batman film.
Yeah.
Maybe
like,
Man of Steel 2.
Group movies are screwed. Group movies from here on out are probably just dead on arrival.
Maybe. I might even say, I'm not saying soon, but maybe like 2020 when Justice League 2,
right.
Or like, maybe if they notice the success of Wonder Woman, they're going to start saying for all the solo films, like, I know they're making a second Superman standalone.
Yeah.
They're going to make several Batman standalones, several Wonder Woman standalones, as well as The Flash and all this.
Right.
So maybe with those independent solo films, they'll give more power to the writers and directors, and those won't be so bad. Mm-hmm. And these will... I was wrong before. I thought DC was doomed, and then this happened. Right. So maybe they'll end on a better note than Marvel.
Maybe so.
Because I think Infinity War is going to suck.
Oh, it probably will.
It'll be average at best, but too much is going on.
Yeah.
And they're hyping it up way too much. Every movie keeps hinting at it. It's just
like we get it. Infinity Stones exist. Just stop it.
You can't pay it all off in one film.
No.
If I find out it's 3 hours, I'm gonna be like, they don't have enough time. That's enough time. That's not enough time to wrap all this up.
That wasn't enough time to make Dawn of Justice cohesive. It's not enough time to make freaking Infinity War good.
And that's like 3 characters.
Yeah.
Infinity War is freaking 64. I'm very curious. I'm definitely going to watch all this, though.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so final thoughts on...
Final thoughts is definitely go watch it.
Yep.
I'm going to watch it tomorrow with my girlfriend.
Nice.
Because it deserves the extra money.
Yes, it does.
And you're going to get a good watch, but I'd recommend higher age groups if you have children.
Yeah. Don't take little kids to see this.
I think little kids are going to enjoy their Spider-Man and their Thor. Not so much this. This is at a higher demographic.
Yeah.
10 to 13-year-old emo people. No, I'm kidding. That was Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But this, mildly enjoyable by adults. Hey, it's a good song.
It is a good song.
I love the Suicide Squad soundtrack.
Dude, the soundtrack is borderline just freaking great.
The Wonder Woman soundtrack's pretty meh. I couldn't find that in the album. Which is proof that they were required to legally use that bit. But what are your final thoughts, Dan?
I liked it. Go see it. I would say B-, the highest grade.
Because
maybe?
I don't want to be biased, since we're not expecting much from DC, I'm going to say C+.
Fair enough.
Because it's not that original. I think we're giving a lot of credit just because she's a girl, which is good, but also you gotta
be real. Right.
Gotta be a good movie too. And I think this is a one-time good movie because we've all said before we're tired of the solo origin stories. This works once, and it's really hard to do it again.
Right.
So I'm gonna lean C+.
All right.
Which is pretty good for DC.
That is pretty good.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for... Yeah, dang it. You stole it from me.
Yeah, go ahead. This is your tune.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.